Borderline personality disorder. What do we know about this condition, and how do you recognise it in people? Hi, beautiful beings. I'm Carol Raythorpe, occupational therapist and metaphysical minister. Today I'm going to tell you about the characteristics that I have experienced and researched about people with borderline personality disorder and what you can expect if you are heading into a relationship with one. To start with, let's talk about how the disorder is caused. Generally, there is a trauma in childhood, similar to narcissistic personality disorder. Someone in the childhood either abandoned the child or caused them emotional or physical trauma. A person with borderline personality disorder tends to compartmentalize people as being either all black or all white. And this has nothing to do with skin colour. All black being that they're bad people and they will never ever be good in their eyes. And all white means that the people are perfect and they just adore these people. Also, on your first meeting with one, you are most likely to hear a litany of past relationships where people did them wrong. All the exes were bad. People in their life were bad. They ditched those people because of some reason that they will make up about them to paint them black. They tend to have a history of many jobs. They cannot hold a job down for very long at all. And of course, when they're talking about them, they will talk about their employer or the people they worked with in a very negative way. So that is the first sign to be on the lookout for. How do they talk about other people? Generally, they talk about people like that in order to get you to sympathize with them. The next thing you may notice if they want to have a relationship with you, whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship, is they will begin to give you excessive flattery. They literally become completely 100% focused on you. They will tell you that you are amazing in many different ways, and they cannot possibly know that because they've only just met you. Be on the lookout for somebody praising you where you know they can't possibly know that about you. When you are getting into the relationship, they treat you like you're a queen or a king. They will do everything to please you. Their intensity of their passion is quite disturbing, actually. It's like 300% infatuation. The way of being intimate is completely obsessive and excessive. They tend to be really clever and focused lovers. They use the physical intimacy part of your relationship as a means of controlling you. They take the power and they expect you to follow along with what they want. As the relationship progresses, after the infatuation is over, there tends to be this push me, pull me type of behaviour. They begin to notice that you are only human and that you have, like all of us, some faults. They speak about these faults so much that you can see that they're actually convincing themselves that you are not measuring up. There will be something that you can understand that you have as a fault, and there will be things that are completely ridiculous, like you're 2 inches too small or you're 2 inches too tall. And they will blame you for getting into the relationship, and they will blame you for fooling them to think that you are perfect. But they did it all. They tend to manipulate your emotions to the extent that you become 100% committed to the relationship and to them. And it can be really insidious that that happens because you don't see it coming. Not if you're a person who is their target. And I'll talk about that in a moment. So once they have decided you don't measure up, then you suddenly become all black. Everything that was good about you that they praised seems to no longer exist. And they push you away. But at the same time, they pull you towards them. Like they love you and they need you, but part of them is telling them it's time to push you away. And the reason for this is because they cannot trust a person to love them, because they were taught early in childhood that people cannot be trusted, that people are dangerous. If they love people, then they're going to be hurt by those people. So they reach the point when they fall in love with you, they begin to push you away. And that's where the black and white scenarios begin to happen. They literally go looking for reasons to paint you black. It's a bizarre sort of thing that happens, but it is what they do. They're trying to convince themselves that it's better for them to not have you. So they start to push you away, but you can see that they love you, and you know they want you, and they pull you in, and then they push you away again. And this behaviour can go on for months until you reach the point where you say, enough's enough, that's it, we're over. Or they reach that point. It's just a matter of who's going to get there first. The thing is that the people they choose to get into relationships with are very similar or the same as the people that narcissists choose. So these people are very loving people who also have been abused in their past, and they have learned to manage their abuse by seeking love outside of themselves because they don't love themselves. I was one of those people. I had relationships with narcissists, and I had a relationship with a person with borderline. I only learned that it was borderline personality when I was looking back on it and I was comparing it to narcissism. I came across the description of a person with borderline. Suddenly everything fitted the picture. People who are the ideal targets are desperate to have some love, and they find it in the narcissists and the borderlines who are over the top, and it's an instant hit of love when you first meet them. If the targets haven't healed the trauma in their past and learned to love themselves, then they are extremely vulnerable to these people. It feels like you've met your soulmate, that everything is wonderful, and you've finally met the love of your life, and invest all of your energy trying to make the relationship work. But then the behaviour comes up, this push me, pull you, painting you black and white. And it takes a massive amount of growth inside to realise that that person is not good for you at all. I remember reaching the point where I saw that that relationship was dangerous for me. I was beginning to learn to love myself, and I realised that I was betraying myself by staying in that relationship. Also, what happens is you become trauma bonded to the person with borderline personality disorder. The push me, pull me type of behaviour is like hurt and betrayal. I love you, you're everything. Hurt and betrayal. I love you, you're everything to me. That goes on, and that causes a cognitive dissonance inside your brain, where on the one hand the person is hurting you, but on the other hand they're adoring you. And our brain is geared to become obsessed and want to be with the people who reject us. It's a bizarre thing that happens with our brain. So this causes the trauma bond. I was very trauma bonded to the person with BPD. The relationship ended in a screaming heap. That was what led to me nearly destroying myself. But I did recognise before that end came, because I was learning to love myself. I realised they were no good for me. I realised that if I was going to love myself, then I had to let that relationship go. But because of the trauma bond, it was very difficult to do. Here is my message for you. If you can recognise in your current partner or somebody you've had a relationship with, if you can recognise these key outstanding traits that they have, look at how you value yourself. Are you all about them literally being codependent in that relationship? Are you giving all of your power to them? Are you taking up your time looking after them? Are you bending yourself over backwards to try and please them? This is what we tend to do if we don't love ourselves. These are not bad people. They don't have the nasty, sadistic type of personality that people with narcissistic personality disorder do. They are actually quite loving, kind people, but they have been damaged so much that they cannot have functional relationships. So take stock and see how much value you have for yourself. How much value do you place on your own happiness? Learn to love yourself. I'll add a link to a video I created about self-love is the key to healing. The video is about the key to healing narcissistic abuse, but it's the same if you've been in a relationship with a person with borderline personality disorder. Now here's a message for you people who think you might be able to help them heal. You can't. They don't have much insight into what their condition is, similar to the NPDs. They don't see they have a condition. They will see you as the person with the problem. If you try to let them know they've got a problem, then you just become blacker in their eyes. It's all your fault. You made them do it. Sadly, very few of them seek treatment, and it takes a commitment to themselves to go through with it, but they generally don't. I'm not saying they're bad people, but they can be toxic for you in a relationship. They generally only get into relationships with people who don't love themselves. That it's rarely possible to have an ongoing healthy relationship with a person with BPD. That is the typical scenario. So if you think somebody in your life has the condition, go online and research it some more so that you can become fully familiar with the traits. Remember, the first stage is excessive interest and flattery. If somebody does that to you, then there is something going on and it's a red flag. Listen to that red flag and don't let them into your life. Don't let them into your home. Don't let them into your wallet. And don't give them your car keys. And you may need to do some work on loving yourself. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you, and I will be waiting for you in the next video. Bye for now.